Hello, welcome there, fellow viewers, to another episode or podcast to the Struggling Hunters. You have me, Joe, and then you have,
Me, Eric.
and thanks again for tuning in. Giving if before we get any further into it, make sure if you could go down to the like and subscribe button, hit us your, give us a thumbs up, give us a like, leave a comment, hit that subscribe. That way you don't miss out on anything that we have to say because it's very important. But today I'll go ahead and give you a little bit of I guess, a rundown on what we're going to go over. We kind of been doing, not that we have anything on hand besides what we personally own, but through some YouTube research, websites, and whatnot, we've done a little bit of our own research that we can through the old internet. But so we've on day packs or backpacks or whatever you call it, your pack that you go hunting with. We hopefully bring some bullet points to the table that maybe you haven't thought of, or maybe you have thought of them, and get our input on what we think. But before we get to that point, I thought I'd go ahead and give you a little bit of information on my hunt this last Saturday. So I'm here in Utah, hunting on the extended archery tag, and I'm able to do that because I was unsuccessful in the normal season, general archery season, deer hunt, and my general archery season elk hunt. So I can still hunt both deer or elk, and I'm still legally allowed to hunt, which has been, which is kind of nice. But I will say, I wish I was done hunting because that would mean my tag has failed. But I have enjoyed being out in the woods. It's been fun. I think we talked a little bit about that. My hunt, I had hunted Friday night, and then I went back out Saturday, and I didn't, and we haven't talked since then. So I'll give you a little bit on my Saturday hunt. Uh, got up early, slept in till 5. I was going to try to get up at 4, so I got an hour late start. And I think, as I told you guys, and told Eric, I spotted a little 3-point buck Friday afternoon, and I was going to go back in and try to come across this buck or whatnot. And so the area that I'm hunting is this just outside of city limits a little bit. It took me a good ways to hike in there, so it's not like I'm just right outside the city. But I am just right outside, but not just across the street. But anyways, it's still, we hadn't had any rain here in Utah for a while. A lot of the leaves were falling on the ground, so it was hard to be quiet to hike. And I was trying to get to this particular little meadow. It's surrounded by scrub oak and whatnot, and I use my Onyx to try to figure out, like, I guess, narrow points that I can get down into through the scrub oak, because this whole hillside was pretty much, I keep saying scrub oak, but that's what it was. And with these little patches of meadows through it, and I was using Onyx to navigate, so that way I didn't have to go through this whole hillside of scrub oak because it's thick. And it's one of the things that's like I'm getting tired of pushing through is the scrub oak, but it's what I chose to hunt in, so I can't complain too much. And so I made my way down into where the meadow that I wanted to go through, and I step out of the scrub oak into the top side of this meadow, and then there's this tall, slender bush with no leaves on it that I stepped behind, and I was like, oh, this, I was like, I'll just step behind this. It'll kind of shield me a little bit. And so I'm standing there and I start hearing something walking through the woods. And it's like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And, like, well, it could be, I know there's turkeys in the area. And I was like, oh, it could be turkeys or it could be another hunter. And it's coming, and I hear it coming, and it's coming pretty much the same direction that I came from. And, and so I start looking where I came from, and I see a deer walk up to it, like, and I can only see its front legs, so just above. Do you call those elbows or knees? Like like the front bending point on a. I don't know what you would call that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
So just above the front joint on the front leg.
I think joint set is a good explanation.
And then down to its feet. So I can't see its head. And I don't know what it is. I can tell it's not a very big frame bodied deer. Doesn't have a big body. So it could be a doe. And then it drops its head and sniffs the ground. And I think it was sniffing my footprints.
Hmm.
And then it sniffed, and then I saw its head kind of like lift up, and it looked right at me, and then stayed there for a second, and then it turned around and did like a little bound, two little bounds, and then just started walking. Then it did. I couldn't see it after that. It was in the scrub oak already. So, and I didn't hear it like go busting through the woods. So I don't think I scared it too bad. But I sat in that. I don't know if it was good or bad, but the scrub oak was so thick and wasn't quiet. I couldn't be quiet to walk through it. So I just kind of sat down and stayed in that area for a little bit. And I laid down and took a couple minute nap. And while I did so, woke up to turkeys about 10 yards away from me.
Wow.
So that was kind of fun. I can hear them like clucking and whatnot, and talking back to each other. Then once they realized I kind of set up a little bit, and one of them looked right at me, and they made a different little noise, and I can't really quite remember the noise. And they didn't run off either, but they didn't stick around to really see who I was.
Yeah.
But that was sad. That was my Saturday hunt. I stayed around, so we were supposed to get some weather Saturday, and that's the other interesting thing about hunting this time of year with the time change. Like, when we're out, so I'll start at the beginning. When I was first started hunting in August, I was out till 9:30 or 9 o'clock at night, till dark. And then out at your hunt, we were dark at what, 7,
Yeah, something like that.
6 or 7.
Yeah, I think it was closer to 7.
And then now that we have the time change, like it gets dark at 5:36. And so, and then I could see these clouds moving in, and I wasn't in a great spot to set and watch anything. So I just started heading back to the truck. It got just about to the truck, and it started raining pretty good. So that was the end of my Saturday hunt. But saw something.
Yeah, well, at least you're out there. At least you saw something. Should
True.
be a good time. I think the rut is pretty thick. I've been, it's funny you saying that. Like, I mean, yeah, I've been seeing a whole lot of activity. I guess. So, I mean, at least you've been seeing a little bit. But, um, man, I've been seeing activity everywhere I go
Really.
lately. Well, for I work out in the woods, and seems like every back road I take, I'm always jumping. Most of the time, some does, but last week I did come across a buck. Just a small guy. He kind of ran across the. I could tell that he had horns, but I couldn't count the point. He ran across so fast, couldn't really count the points. But
Uh,
but yeah, I mean, regardless, though, I just been seeing all kinds of activity lately, which I was kind of thinking, I'm like, well, this is kind of a good sign over here. Maybe Joe's having some of the same luck over there. Uh, man, I'll tell you though, I'm kind of jealous of you running into all the turkeys. I mean, maybe it'll transfer over to this next year, next turkey season, and maybe you'll actually be able to get a
Yeah,
turkey.
I hope it kind of hope turns out that way because it was kind of like going back as I was hiking back. I was as I was in the evening heading back for being done for the night. I could hear, I can hear like something going through like the the grass, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of thought maybe it was a deer working its way out. So I stood there to like trying to figure out what was making the noise. And like, well, I was like nothing, I can't see it. And so like I feel like I should be able to see whatever is making the noise by now because it wasn't just like, oh, there I heard something and I gotta be quiet and listen. Like I stood there for a little bit listening to it, thinking I should be able to see it. And I didn't see anything. So I started working my way up. And it was turkeys going through the grass.
Mm.
And then as I got kind of a little bit closer back to the truck, I looked across the draw from me and I saw another band of turkeys going making their way along the top of this other ridge. So yeah, so that's two spots that I found turkeys this year, three, like there's this spot and then one other spot that I found that had turkeys in it. So yeah, I'm hoping this spring. I don't know if they should be in I guess the same area. I don't think they what do you call it?
Migrate.
My yeah.
I don't think they migrate too far either. I mean, I don't know. I've never really researched turkey what turkey's migration patterns to, you know.
I haven't either.
Yeah, it's so funny doing this podcast and you think you know a lot and then you get into these conversations and you're like, guess I don't know as much as I thought I did.
Right. Right. You're like, oh, I go out I get up early in the mornings. I go out in the woods with my weapon and see stuff. I've been successful. I'm a hunter.
Yeah, yeah. Then you go to talk about it though, and you're like, maybe I should research some of that stuff.
Right. Right.
That's all right though. We'll get there.
True. That's what we're doing.
Exactly. That's cool though. I mean, like I said, at least you saw something. You don't think he was very big though, or even if it
No,
was
he wasn't that like well actually I should say I did see antlers on him. Uh when he put his head down and sniffed my track, I did see antlers on him and
okay.
he wasn't a little forged horn, he didn't have a small like a like really small horn on him, but he wasn't a mature buck either. He was probably 2 years old, maybe three, but he had 3 points on him, not a little forky, but
Would you have took a shot if you would have had one?
oh yeah.
We're past the point of looking for the trophies, huh?
Yeah, I've been past that since opening morning.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you. That's one thing this year that's with us doing this. You know, you've been hunting since August and my hunt just got over and mine was 9 days long. And I'm like, man, we gotta grow this channel or something so we can pay for a few traveling hunts or something. Cause 9 days just ain't enough hunting time, you know.
Right,
It's done
right.
and over with, and now got to kind of look for the next thing. I don't know. Maybe I'll try some bear hunting or something. Just the tags aren't that expensive over here, and the
Oh
season's
really?
so yeah, season's so long that I mean, I just go out and get my hiking in, and I mean, at least say that I tried to do some bear hunting.
Yeah. That's one thing I think I said before. I want to try bear hunting at least, maybe like till I'm successful once, but I don't know why that like the bear just isn't really that one that I want to. I don't know if it's like a danger thing or what or but yeah.
Nah, I kind of feel the same way, or I don't know, but I guess for me, like the only thing that um I just kind of want that tag so I have something to pursue.
Right, I
Mm,
agree with you. Like,
mm,
yeah, I agree with you there. It just
Yeah,
gives that permission again to be out in the woods and to hunt to harvest something.
yeah,
Yeah, I can get that. I'll buy into that for sure.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, just you still get to talk about your hunting stories, and mine's done. Mine's done for the year. So
Maybe we'll have to look into that for next year, see about figuring some of that out too.
yeah, yeah. Well, I do have a plan for Colorado. I'm gonna attempt to do this is put in for my deer for third season, and then I'll probably do my elk second season again. Uh, I'll take the time off for my elk, but third season I'll just kind of get out in the afternoons and try to pursue a buck. But
Yeah.
I'll be able to hunt both seasons, have a little more hunting time.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's why I want to do it, you know.
Yeah.
And then
Instead of putting them both on the
yeah,
same hunt and only having the 9 days to try to do two.
yeah. I mean probably what will happen is I'll see a
See a big old bull elk in your deer hunt.
yep, and then see a big old buck on my elk hunt. So I'm sure that's the way it'll work, but I don't know.
You're
We'll
right.
we'll make adjustments, but uh yeah, I don't know. I think I think it'll be kind of better that way, so I can kind of get a little more hunting in, and also give me a chance to get something. I mean, it, ultimately, I'd like to get both and
Right.
hang my hat on those stories for another year. But yeah, I don't know. It's just not setting good with me to only be able to hunt 9 days out of the year. Just kind of. I mean, we did turkey season this year, and then my elk hunt, but yeah, I just kind of want a little more hunting throughout the year. So I'm gonna kind of look into that and see what I can figure out.
True.
Then
Makes sense.
we gotta do more fishing too.
Yeah. I want that's one thing I kind of want to improve on with more fishing.
Yeah.
Spend more time doing some fishing.
Yeah, I know. I feel like I get so caught up with hunting, fishing kind of goes to the wayside
Right.
a little bit.
Right. Get into figure that out a little bit and try to do both.
Yeah, I just want more excuses to that's another thing that I was thinking about too is having more excuses to be out in the woods and going to where we hunt elk and deer so we can kind of start spotting them more and kind of getting eyes on in the middle of summer where there's no pressure, maybe you run across a couple elk, but you kind of feel good that they're in the area, so when hunting season comes you have a better idea where they're at. I felt a little overwhelmed, the area that we went for my elk hunt. I felt a little overwhelmed because I'm like, okay, we're here in this spot. There's a lot of country. It's big country here. Now, where do I go to find the elk? I didn't really, I didn't really know because I went off of information that I was told, and which was great information. I'm totally thankful for the information, but I felt like I kind of found camp, kind of knew the area or knew the general area where to hunt, but I didn't really know where the elk were, if you will. So I've been kind of thinking about that, just trying to get out in the woods more, where there's not as much pressure, and hopefully come across elk a little more often. And I felt like that always helped me. Like it always kind of helped me in Idaho whenever we'd hunt up there.
Yeah.
Kind of knew where the deer were because I was always out in the woods. Always knew where the elk were because I was always out in the woods. Even though I never got an elk in Idaho, I kind of had an idea where they were. See them out there. So I don't know. It's kind of a plan, but
True.
are you done talking about your weekend?
Yeah, that was it. That was my Saturday hunt.
Well, let's move on to doing some talk about the hunting packs now. Full
Sound
or go ahead.
no, I say sounds good.
Oh, okay, so to break it down, there's so many hunting packs out there. There's so many companies that make hunting packs, and I feel like they all have a benefit of this. They all kind of have their strong points and their weak points. So it's really hard to like identify the best one. I mean, if you're brand loyal to one, it'd probably be the one for you because they're all pretty good. At the end of the day, I think they're all fairly decent, comfortable. They have comfortable pack harnesses. Some have bigger lumbar support than others, but they're all pretty comfortable for the most part, especially those more expensive ones. And I guess tonight, like, kind of break down what Joe and I are looking for in a hunting pack. Uh, I'll kind of just start out with me. Like, the one thing is for my meat shelf. I feel like it's pretty important for me. Is I want a meat shelf where my bag will extend out and I can stick my meat between the frame and the bag and then cinch up the meat to my back as close as possible for a more even distribution of weight on my back. And so that's one thing that's pretty important to me. I'm not really too into the idea of having a pack where inside meat carrier where I stuff all my meat inside the pack. Uh, the biggest reason or a couple reasons is I personally feel like cleanup is a little more of a pain. Now, if that's all you got, I understand. Like, if you're listening to this, you're like, well, that's all I got, So who are you to tell me what's good and bad? If that's all you got, that's all you got. Or if you prefer that, good for you.
Well, that's what I've did for a handful of years is I more or less just had a backpack that was a bag with maybe one or two pockets. And so every time I got something, I just had to put it in my the meat bags or what, you cover your meat in. And
Game
then
bags.
game bags. Yeah. And then I dropped those into like, the bigger pouch on the backpack and, packed out. That's what I did that for, for forever, I guess, the $2 or $3, $2 to $3 I've gotten. That's how I did it. I just had this bag that I just dropped all the meat into and went out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it at all. I, uh, I mean, I think if it works for you, it works for you. But if you, for me, you know, um, well, the pack I have right now, I kind of retrofitted it, if you will, to where I put my day pack on there and sewed up some straps to to where I can have that meat carrier. But my frame and my day pack are both they're fairly cheap. They're some of the cheaper frame and bag on the shelf, and I just I bought them and with the plan of updating my pack to a more expensive pack, and that's part of the reason that we're talking about this is because I'm in the hunt for a new pack probably coming up this next year hunting season. I'll have one of the more expensive packs, and so I've been looking at those. And yeah, so like I said, I mean, if that's all you have for a meat pack though is the inside, I mean, it is what it is. And you either love it or you don't. I know for me, I don't like the idea of having to take out all my stuff out of my bag, putting my meat in there, and then trying to stuff everything back in. I'd rather just pull my day pack out a little bit and or pull my day pack off, stuff it in there on the meat shelf, tie it all up and go. Not have to empty my whole bag. I mean, I'm not saying that you always have to empty your bag, but I don't know how you did it, but I've seen that before too. Is emptying out your whole bag and then stuffing everything in the sides, and I don't know, just seems like a lot more work.
Right.
Uh, so that's one feature that I like about the meat hauling packs. And then I'll kind of hand it to you, Joe. I, so
I'll tell you.
go ahead. Go ahead.
You want me to say? I'll kind of throw out what I look for in a pack too right now, or
Okay.
what I want. So kind of like along the lines with Eric. After using packs for a while or backpacks, my school backpacks for a pack to, even back in the days of school when I carried a backpack every day, I've kind of discovered that I like the packs that was on my that whatever I threw on my back, that I like the pack to keep my books or my gear close to my back. I found that, like if I had a big bag that, like it kind of, I guess, drooped, on my back, it made my shoulders pull more, or, like made me feel top heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've learned, before I even really got into hunting, that I like the weight to be strapped to my back. I didn't want a big bag to just, because the more area that you have behind you, that's, I guess, I guess cantilevered, the further the weight is from your back, the more it's going to pull you backwards. And so I've always tried to when I was buying a pack, try to find one that, kept everything close to my back. Um, and so, and then on top of that, I like to have pockets. Um, you know, I think I've said it before in other podcasts, but like to have little pockets to put stuff in, keep things organized. Um, and then over the years, I finally, we said it before, I bought a Badlands 2200 backpack uh, 3 years ago that I've been using. Um, and so, that's the one thing I like about it, is that it has a handful of pockets, and then it keeps, my gear, it'll keep it pretty much um, tight to my back. It doesn't have a lot of, you know, uh, of weight on the back side of it, but it does have a meat shelf, and that meat shelf comes out and from the bottom of the backpack, and then it lays across my gear, like my gear bag part of it. And so that's putting more weight out further from my back, um, which, like I said, isn't what I like having, but it is what I have right now, so I'm going to use it. But I do like what Eric's saying about having that or that meat shelf that's just right off your back, or right off the frame, in between your gear bag and your frame, so that way the heaviest part of your load is closest to your back, and you're not, don't have all that much weight hanging off your shoulders on to pull you backwards. So that's some of the thoughts that I've found over the years that made my backpacks more enjoyable as
Yeah.
I've been out in the woods.
Yeah, I'm kind of new to the game. I mean, I would carry a day pack, I guess, but kind of the new to the game with packs. because even in Idaho, I mean, I just kind of drag the deer to the pickup, or you know, never really packed it out, I guess. So I've been kind of trying to get into it. I mean, since I've been in Colorado, I guess I've been doing it a lot more, using the packs a lot more. But um, I will say, like your pack is an awesome pack. I love. I mean, after hunting with you the first time, and you having your Badlands pack, I was sold on Badlands. But then I started kind of doing more research on other packs, and then I would say the only thing is that your meat shelf is on the outside of your bag
Right.
instead of between you or the frame and the bag. It's on the very outside. So
And
so go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, not to cut you off, but I'll go ahead and throw out some of the cons to my backpack, or do you want to save that for a little bit later?
No, go ahead. Go ahead, because it might help
So,
transition to what I'm trying to get to.
so I got the, like I said, the Badlands 2200, and one of the things that I've enjoyed. Eric even mentioned it when we were out elk hunting this year. He picked it up and he's like, "Holy cow, your bag's heavy." And I've been packing it that weight. I should probably throw it on a scale. I'm probably upwards, maybe close to, like the 18-pound mark, approaching 20. I'm not sure, but but when one of the pros is I throw it on there and I can pack it around all day and it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's something to be said about the straps and the hip waist and how the backpack's constructed. Um, I do like, on this particular one, I have a zipper that's on the back side that I can zip and get into my pack side of it, and I that's where I keep my water and my food, so that way, it's easy to get to. Um, I do like the fact, I guess I didn't, the price point isn't, I mean, it's a little more expensive, but it's not the expensive side of things. So, I didn't spend the $400. I thought I was close in the over 200 when I bought it, but I think I must be wrong because they're not that as expensive as I thought I paid for it. But it's somewhat affordable. It gets the job done. I've packed out one deer, one little 3-point. I put all 4/4 backstrap and tenderloin and everything on it. And I guess that tells you how big my deer was. I was able to put it on all
Yeah.
in one backpack.
Yeah.
Um, and I packed it I was able to pack it out in one trip. So even though it's not the greatest design, it's still functional. Uh, the one of the kind of the cons this year to me was the fact that so one of the reasons that it's heavy is I carry a spotting scope and a little tripod, and not that they're not all that heavy, but it's additional weight, right?
Right.
Um, and so, and in order to get to those, I got to open up what they call it, the bat wing. Is that what
Yeah. Bat wings.
they open up the back bat wings, and I pull out my spotting scope and I take my tripod off. So, you know, sometimes I feel discouraged wanting to pull those out because I got to take my, no, no matter what, you got to take your backpack off. But then after that, I got to go in, and it's only 3 clips to open up the wings, and then a clip to undo my tripod, and then a zipper to undo my spotting scope. But that's in a way a lot of steps, and especially if I don't wanting to spend a lot of time in a particular area, it's extra time that's taken, a noise and extra time that it's taken to take it out and put it back.
Right.
Not that it's a huge con, but I found myself this year at least sitting down in some spots and wanting to pull out my spotting scope or my tripod, but deciding not to because I guess being a little lazy.
Well, yeah, I get that though. Like the process of it all is kind of like, ah, I gotta do it again.
Right.
Especially if you're setting up 3 or 4 times in a day and you're like, I don't want to pull out this spotting scope again.
Right.
Unbuckle my 3 buckles, buckle it all back up, cinch it all down. So I get that. But I kind of like that feature on your. I mean, I'm looking at it from afar, if you will, because I mean, I see you operate your pack, and I'm jealous and thinking, how can I push them off this hill and keep the pack, and I'll just run away and I'll just walk away with the pack.
Right.
No, I really like your pack. I've always, I mean, I threw it on for probably 5 minutes one day because we were kind of comparing and contrasting. I don't know, last year or 2 years ago, and I threw on his pack, and I felt like it was the Cadillac of day packs. I mean, it just felt so comfortable compared to my cheaper ones. I never, I mean that for me, I never really thought about it or paid much attention to. I never understood the price difference on packs. I'm like, backpack's a backpack, and that's kind of the way I treated it forever. And uh, then yeah, after I tried on your pack and kind of felt what quality was all about, I was like, I've been missing out here, So
And
uh,
I should throw in before we get too much further too is the one of the reasons why I picked this one too is one was I was able to look at it, but two, the Badlands have their lifetime warranty on it. Like they'll either fix it or replace it, and so when you're spending that that kind of money, it's kind of nice to know that you're more than likely going to have it for a while.
yeah, yeah. Actually, that's huge. I think that's I like those companies that have that. I like that, kind of transitioning real quick to like Vortex. I mean, I really like the idea that no questions asked. I mean, you can pretty much run it over with your pickup if you wanted to. I don't know why you would, but you could take it in and they'll just replace it with no questions asked. I mean, those kind of lifetime warranties are pretty nice. So, um, I need to look into. So for me, I've been looking into Mystery Ranch. Mystery Ranch has really caught my eye, and I'm thinking that's the pack that I'm going to chase after this next year to to go ahead and buy and update my pack. And but I don't know what their warranty is like, so I'll have to look into that. But I really like a lot of their features. I feel Joe and I, before we started the podcast, we were kind of looking into some of the different ones. And speaking of the bat wings, the Marshall on the Mystery Ranch is it's pretty appealing because they have a few tube pockets or whatever you want to call them, kind of like a bat wing, but it's just a zipper. So if for example, put in the spotting scope, just take off your pack, unzip it, pull it out, and be a little quicker access, I guess you could say, than the bat wings. But yeah, I don't know. I think it has a lot of features that I really like. It kind of has everything that I like. But I noticed doing some research on all of them. I mean, they all kind of have really good features. I mean, all the brands from your QU to even Sitka, which Sitka is more of an inside meat hauler, or at least the one that we were looking at. Um, what else is there? Black Creek, Mystery
Yeah. So
Ranch, and EXO, and then you
uh,
also got your the one that Aaron Snyder, his brand. I can't think of what it's called now. But anyways, and then Eberly stock, that one. I mean, they're all really nice. Eberly stock might be more of a budget friendly one to get into because you could get the pack frame for like somewhere around 150, $160. And then the bag on top of that, depending on what kind of bag you're looking for, you can get like your cheaper, just one, basically one pocket bag or one zipper bag or whatever. You can get those for like 30 or $40. Or you can get some of their other ones that have more pockets. So Eberly Eberly stock is probably more of your higher end packs, but kind of have a lot of options and yeah, budget friendly. Also, Alps is another one that's pretty budget friendly. But I think whenever you start getting into Alps, I would say the only downfall to them is I don't know how comfortable their stuff is necessarily.
As far as comfortability goes, I want it like I haven't been able to put hands on. We've thrown out names as Mystery Ranch, Sitka, Black Creek, XO, um, and some of those you're paying a good amount for them. Uh, but the one thing that as I've been doing my online research of it all is that I have noticed that those packs, the straps seem to be just maybe made a little bit better, a little more high density foam. And one of the things that caught my eye too, couple of things was the hip belt on them. They seem to be a little bit taller,
Mm.
and which I thought was kind of nice. And the other thing too is that I guess would be like the lumbar support or the lower back part of the pack. They seem to have like a thicker pad. So
Yeah, yours doesn't really have that pad, huh?
no, I do have some high density foam, and it does fit my back, but I don't have a thicker pad along the
Lumbar.
back, the butt, the lower back, upper butt side of it.
Yeah, the lumbar section.
Yeah, I think that's a lumbar.
The lumbar pad rather, I
Yeah,
think. Yeah,
and
yeah,
so
I think that's an important feature too, for sure.
so
And some
they're gonna say, well, your cheaper packs don't have that, and then you start paying the money, and that's you start realizing where some of your money's going to is not only the integrity of the pack, um, the durability, but also the comfortability. Like they're not only looking at how well the pack's going to hold up to upwards to 100 pounds of meat in your gear, or you're packing out with a 120-pound pack or whatever. So it's going to hold up to that, but it's going to have the foam or the pads to reinforce the pack to be still comfortable as you're pulling out a heavy pack.
Yeah, and that's probably one of the most important features that's easily overlooked too is the comfortability. Because with me using the cheaper frame and day pack and blending them together, I mean, they're comfortable at first. Whenever you first throw it on, you're like, oh yeah, the weight distribution's on my hips, and but there's not like a soft foam or a lumbar support necessarily, and the foam is a little stiffer. So after a few hours, you start kind of feeling all the pressure points where it's kind of riding not the right way. So that's the biggest reason that I want to update is because I mean it gets the smallest things. Even I don't feel like I carry that much in my day pack. Just some food, extra clothes, some water. My day pack is generally pretty light for the most part. Some extra knives, um, but it's still, like I said, pretty light. But my pack being my pack frame being a little bit cheaper, a few hours walking around, it starts getting uncomfortable, and like I said, pressure points and stuff like that. I start kind of feeling it in my upper shoulders or on my back in general, and I'm like, I just want to ditch this pack frame because just starting to annoy me. So that, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is that's where the benefits of paying that extra money really comes into play is they take a little bit of time, like Joe was saying, and think about the comfortability of it all too. And
Yeah.
then the other thing too is we kind of skip past it a little bit, but you were talking about weight and just bag weight itself. I know for me having the cheaper pack, I don't know how much weight it is, but I know I mean my pack frame itself is a cheaper metal. It's not aluminum or any of those lighter metals. These more expensive packs are making their frames out of either aluminum. So I think yours is like aluminum rods or aluminum, yeah,
Yeah.
basically rods. And then they have like tubular aluminum, tubular titanium, and then a few of the companies are going for carbon fiber. QU and Mystery Ranch are two that do carbon fiber. Um, and so and then the materials are light but strong material too. So they try to, I mean, they really consider all this to where everything weighs in. I would say there were some that claimed that they were only like 4 pounds dry weight.
Right.
So I would say anywhere between 4 and 7, maybe 8 at the most. That's what they weigh in dry weight at. So I mean that's pretty light though. I mean that's really light for depending on how big your pack is. I don't know how much your 2200 weighs, but yours is like a true day pack. I mean it's 2200 cubic square feet
Inch,
inch
220 cubic inches.
inches. My bad. Yeah, feet would be pretty big. Huh?
Yeah. I couldn't carry that.
Thank you for the correction. But but yeah, 2200 cubic inches, square inches, right? Square inches. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll move past that. Anyway, you're picking up what we're putting down, but yours is a true like day pack where it gets you around for the day, and I think uh the Mystery Ranch Marshall is like 6,500
Yeah.
cubic square inches.
Yeah.
Now
I
I
think it
feel
was
like
like
every time every
64.
time I say it, I feel like I'm saying it wrong. But anyway, we'll move on. Yeah, so that's pretty big. I mean, I could really, if I do go for that one, I could really stuff a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah, it's 6405 cubic inches.
Cubic inches, so
Yeah.
not square inches.
Yep.
Okay. But yeah, so honestly, I don't know. I mean, I kind of go back and forth because I mean, I've been around your pack enough. I've, messed with it or looked at it and tried it on and checked it out and all that stuff. I really love your Badlands pack. I would
No,
say the only thing that like personally is that the meat hauler is on the very outside.
right. And yeah, like you said, I can't really knock my backpack. Like I've enjoyed it. It's like you said, it's an awesome day pack. It's on the bigger side, so I have plenty of room, to carry an extra jacket, food, my meat bags, knives, water. So and it actually has like a little pistol holder if you want, throw your pistol in the hip belt. But I really, we're sitting here talking about like the higher end packs, but I really can't, really end the day. I can't badmouth my bag too bad. My Badlands. It's it's like I said, I think this was. See, we've been hunting together for this was our third year.
Of hunting together, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that was that first year that we hunted together was the first year that I had it. So like the 3 seasons that I've hunted with it, it's and then scouted with it too. Like it really, I, it's not that. I've loved the bag. It's a good bag.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't, I mean,
If someone was looking to spend what my, like in the ballpark of what my bag cost, I wouldn't say not to.
yeah, I think you'd be pretty happy. And that's the thing. I mean, really cost comes into it. And I think you can find yours for, I think what it is, because I was doing some research earlier and I was looking at some Badlands bags, and I think the ones that the ones that are like yours are their older style, so they have them a little cheaper. You can find them for like, I can't remember, what,
I think
150,
100, 189,
180.
170.
Okay, 100. Okay, up around 180. But I think if you buy the newer style, they're up around like 300. I could be mistaken about that, but they made some updates where you can the biggest update that I know that they made was you
The
can hook your
binos clip,
binos clip up to your, yeah.
and then the spotting scope can be, that pouch for that can be zipped in and zipped out.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
But
That, yeah. So they made a few updates to it, but yeah, it's a really good pack. I love your pack, and I might even go that route still. I just know that I've really been favoring the Mystery Ranch lately after watching some of those. But like Joe and I were talking, the one downfall to like Mystery Ranch and a couple of these predominantly online packs is that it'd be nice to be able to just like try them on somewhere. You know, if like if they were held at Cabela's, you could actually try them on and see if you even like them, or if they feel as good as you thought they would. Or
right, yeah, I don't know. That's the one thing I feel like I've been in a bow shop or someplace that had, I can't remember if it was a Mystery Ranch or one of the other higher end packs, but like I don't know where I can go to easily, kind of look them over. That's the one thing I like to do is touch and feel and get into the pockets and
yeah,
and really see if it's something I want.
yeah, definitely. I feel the same way too. So that is kind of a risk. So if you're listening to this and I would say, that's the risk about buying online, is really got to do your own research and kind of try to figure out as the ins and outs of whatever pack you're pursuing. And I
And
will
that's
say,
like,
or go ahead.
you go ahead. Go ahead.
Um, I will say that for the Mystery Ranch, another selling point on that Marshall that I really liked is if you take the hood off of the pack itself, you can turn that into a small backpack, which I could see beneficial in some areas if you're, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't take off my pack and just set it down somewhere so I could go hike somewhere. I mean, another hunter come by and be like, "What's this?" Or,
Right.
but I could
But
see it.
if you had a spike camp, like if you look at it that way, you had a spike camp set up to where you're leaving your tent, you know, someplace, and you have and so like throw your tent, your bigger frame pack into your tent, zip it up, and then you have that little smaller thing you can throw on and go for the day from there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know there's situations, and I'd probably I'd probably use it that way, maybe more often than not. I mean, if we were at base camp and I knew we weren't too far away from base camp, maybe a couple miles or some away from base camp, and I just didn't feel like taking my whole pack frame. I mean, I could see myself definitely using that little backpack, but it's a cool feature regardless, whether you could see yourself using it or not. It's kind of a cool feature that they have. And I don't know. I'm really kind of leaning toward that pack frame.
And I guess, like after, of course, everyone can do what we did and go and look at, websites of, that all these different packs are sold from, find YouTube videos, um, and then, try to find your own, make a list of what you like. Like, one of the things that the mystery ranch has that I like the fact that it has that meat shelf and the pack that are kind of one unit that attaches back to the frame, and I feel like it gives it some strength to pull everything up and attach it to the shoulder clips or whatever, and keep everything kind of, nice and tight and against your back, and without having to, you know, to me, looking at it again, like I haven't been able to physically touch and pull it all apart and look at it, but some of those ones that have the straps that, where the pack totally comes off the frame, you have to strap everything back onto it. And to me, if you have the possibilities of throwing the weight one side of your hip or the other side of your hip, or as you're cinching it down. And that's the one thing I like, I guess, about the mystery ranch, is that you kind of have a center point. You can set your meat in that shelf, and then you pull everything tight, and it kind of keeps everything easily centered on the frame. That's, so I guess for me too, I'd probably look more at a mystery ranch backpack than maybe the other ones.
Yeah, well, and to add to what you're kind of saying is the meat shelf, but also disconnecting it from the frame seems. This is where Joe and I really don't have input, but or we haven't been able to do it in person. But it looks like it's one of the easier packs to disassemble away from your frame to be able to put the meat on your frame.
Right.
So I really I don't know. I mean I'm trying not to sound biased because I would say the Marshall might be a little bit big for me as far as cubic inches, but it had the most pockets and it had those two pockets where you could zip up the uh but the sawtooth and the was it the bear tooth,
Yeah.
those two packs I like those too, but they kind of lacked on pockets. They have one big compartment that I really liked, but I felt like they didn't really have the side pockets. They have them all on the inside, but I kind of like having individual pockets on the outside, like the bigger ones like that. So you could stash your spotting scope or your knives and you kind of know exactly where they are. You don't have to open up your
Right.
big pocket to get in there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I bring that up because I feel like every pack, like if you could almost make a pack that blended all the high points of all these expensive packs together, you'd have an awesome pack. But like every pack has like a few cons to it.
Right. Like I think, like, like kind of the takeaway, like, if you're trying to find that one pack that has it all, you're probably going to be like an oversized pack, like,
You're probably right.
so you kind of, that's like, you kind of like, for me, I have the list of stuff that I look for and I'm going to stick to.
Yeah.
And, so like whichever one gets, kind of the most tick marks, or then you have your takeaways and you're like, well, can I do without that? Like whatever that is for whoever you are, and whatever, you like and don't like, at the end of the day, you're going to hopefully use this pack for a couple years, like for me, my Badlands, I'm probably going to use it for a couple more, unless, I finally hit a point where it's like I'm ready for a new one. But for what I'm doing, it's good for me.
Yeah.
And does it have everything I want? No, but I'm happy.
Yeah. Well, that's all that matters as long as you're happy. And I mean, I think the whole reason, or not the whole reason, but part of the reason that this came up is because I'm in the hunt of
Right.
looking at updating my pack, and So, Joe and I kind of
Well,
talk
I
about
love
it every once in a
backpack
while.
too.
You love backpacks?
Yeah, like I can really go in and kind of just look them all over anyways. But
Well, that's kind of, yeah, that's kind of the thing with my personality in general. I mean, I'm I mean, I guess you could call it materialistic, but I just love nerding out on gear. I mean, I just love to nerd out and kind of have a wish list and try to put it together a little bit at a time, and everything that I learn or that I like, I just want to share and
right.
kind of like we did tonight, kind of talk about the pros and the cons of everything, and so as of right now, I'm kind of leaning toward Mystery Ranch, but who knows by the time hunt season comes where I'll end up. But as of right now, I definitely am leaning toward Mystery Ranch, and we'll see. And whenever I do get it, we'll probably do like a whole video of, maybe we can get together and do like a YouTube video comparing both of our packs, something like that. I don't know. I think that'd be kind of fun though, comparing and
Yeah. I
contrasting, trying to
think,
one up each other.
yeah.
But one pro that I like about I really don't remember if I've already said this or not. But one pro that I like about the Mystery Ranch frame is that it's made out of carbon fiber, and from what it looked like, because this was just demonstrated in a video, but from what it looked like, there was a lot of flexibility there, but it was still rigid and strong. So, it wasn't like going to collapse on you, but there was flexibility there. And I don't know. I mean, it could be a negative, but I think personally, like, you cinch that up to your back, and having that little bit of flexibility could be beneficial to comfortability in the pack.
Give you a little bit of movement too. It might be even I like the other one thing that just popped in my head, kind of a safety issue too, like for good. Like, to be able to, like, if you're feeling like you're leaning in one way and sometimes you get those rigid frames and you can't quite get yourself to to move a certain direction, and that, like, it kind of pulls you back. But if you have that twist and whatnot, it might even help you keep your balance easier too.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense actually. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like Mystery Ranch might be taking the lead tonight as far as the. I don't know if this was much of a pack shootout, but it just kind of
No,
more going over what we like and don't like about packs, I guess.
right. And that's like, like, that's one of the, at the end of the day, I don't again, i I probably sound like a broken record, but I don't think, these companies we've talked about, they spent time engineering and looking into how they want to develop their backpacks, that, you really can't go wrong unless you know just don't like it. And then you can't,
Yeah.
if you don't like it, you're not going to like it. But at the end of the day, if either one of them, if I picked up a backpack, from either one of them, I'd probably use it, and probably still and be satisfied with it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But then, if I was going to go out and spend some money on something, it's definitely going to be something I want. And then, no matter what the brand would be, it's going to be because I'm going to buy because I like it.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're a little bit brand loyal to Badlands?
Uh, I would say, yeah, I probably was for a little bit when I first bought it, because I don't, being I know I was probably living under an umbrella. And so I did, like, and then and I've just, like, I found that Badlands and had other people that I hunted with use Badlands, and, they're like, oh, they're awesome bags. They have a lifetime warranty, like, they're just, and so I kind of got a little, like, bit brand loyal to Badlands. But, now that my eyes have been opened up to other uh, brands and kind of more of what I'd want, when I guess my big thing is if I were to buy another backpack, it's more because I guess it has that meat shelf that ability to put the meat against the frame against my back. So that
Right.
way I don't have so much weight hanging off, the further off my back to make it a harder pack out. So like I said, if push comes to shove and I really feel like I'm wanting to buy a new pack, that's going to be why, is because I just want that that ability. But I still wouldn't, like a day pack or whatever, like I'd still look into Badlands,
Well, at this point, you could probably, if you really wanted to. Well, so I kind of got two questions, but I'm gonna paint this scenario first. If you almost wanted to, you could probably get the Eberly stock frame, pack out your first load with your Badlands, and then just grab your
that's true.
Eberly lock frame, and then or Eberly stock frame, and then pack out the rest with that. I mean that because Eberly stock has some nice packs. I mean, I don't know. I've looked into them a couple times. They have one pack that, I mean, I think they might have a couple different frames, but uh, the frame the frame is very versatile. So like all their bags, they have a variety of different bags, and they all attach to the frame in one way or another, which is kind of a I think it's kind of a selling point. It's kind of, I mean, I don't know. They're not bad packs. I've looked at them a lot, and um, they're definitely in the consideration. But I have a second question for you though. If if you won like a gift card, but you could only buy a pack, it didn't matter the brand. As of right now, with the information that you've looked up, what brand would you probably lean toward as of right now?
I think the Mystery Ranch.
Yeah,
I probably need to do a little bit more homework, and I'd probably do a lot more. Well, I would do a lot more homework before I finally like bought a pack. But right now, from what I've seen, the Mystery Ranch is what I would go with right now.
yeah. Well, as of right now, I kind of have to agree. I mean, we're just online looking at the price. They're expensive, but I kind of feel the same way. I think that they seem to be a pretty good pack, and I will say, like, if I'm brand loyal to any hunting company, and I don't I don't know why I feel this way, but I'm pretty brand loyal to QU. I'm always looking at them first, and they have their packs. But I kind of got turned off. I'll tell you, I kind of got turned off to their packs because the taking off to for the meat load, taking off and putting them on, like there was so many steps in there. I was kind of like, man, feels like you gotta be a rocket scientist just to get this bag off. And it's probably not as hard as, I'm probably being a little dramatic there. It's probably not as hard as it looked or whatever, but comparing the videos that I've seen on QU and then comparing the videos on Mystery Ranch, I kind of lean Mystery Ranch all the time or every time. But I don't know. There's a lot of good ones though. What is it? Glacier Stone, I believe. Glacier Stone kind of looks appealing too. Have you seen theirs?
I don't know that I have.
I think I could be pronouncing the company wrong, but I think it's Glacier Stone or GS. So you might have just seen the GS on a pack maybe before.
Probably.
It doesn't matter, but I think their packs are pretty nice. But I don't know. I kind of still lean Mystery Ranch as of right now. So that'll probably be what I get more than likely. But I feel like I feel like we're kind of packed out, huh?
Yeah, I think we kind of have.
The low energy is starting to kick in.
Yeah, well, I think we've been going at it for over an hour now. So
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
It's a time warp. It's crazy. Well, I'll go ahead and get us out of here.
Okay.
Uh, guys, thanks for listening to this point. If you're still listening, really appreciate the support. You know, we're growing all the time, and we're kind of just on our own little path of growth. But you know, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps our algorithm. It helps us grow. So we appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening to the Struggling Hunters, and we are out.
Bye.